opening face-off. The Americans win the face-off.
They win the first one, and Canada is not fielding the first line for this. Yes, they are. They are, both of them. And I had the luck to see the last and only two friendly games in pre-tournament for Canada. They played versus Switzerland. They didn't use the dump and chase so much, and probably it was because they were not used to the big ice rink, or either because they want to try something less physical and try to combine the lines. So we're full Northern Americans. The line are scary names. It should be.
Well,
Wow.
one player that I was really looking forward to see on the Canadian side is PK Subban, the defender. Canadians coming in with the first opportunity, getting a shot on net with that rebound. The American goalie from the Detroit Red Wings, he is going to be earning his pay tonight. The Canadians are going to be coming after him, trying to get as many. Here's the first.
Oh, that's the score. That's the score. Not even 2 minutes gone, and that's the first score. What did it happen?
Cam Ward let in a soft goal, but hey, look what do I know? I'm just talking about the Americans. American goalie having to be Miller having to work to get his pay. Here we have a look at once again how the Americans come down, go into that high slot area, quick snapshot right into the net, and that's the way to start off the game for the Americans. The Americans, Slater coming down right through the traffic,
and Kylo Prozo cutting off probably the defender, passing in front of his teammate in a kind of opening motion that probably left the defender a little bit confused. Could it
well,
be?
again, this is the Canadians seem to be a bit stiff in the gears as they were started off the game yesterday against Slovakia, and we see right here again that the Canadians have to come prepared to play, and I think they mentally that the Canadians obviously in these first couple of minutes are still in the dressing room, but Brent Sutter, he'll work that out pretty quick with the players.
I am sure he will. Now it's time to give indication to the third line now, having a rest. Second face-off won by the USA team. Alex Goligoski, former Pittsburgh Penguins, recently moved to the Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars is a team decently represented in both this team. That's the puck juggling in front of the net. That's not the second score.
There's another big scramble right in front of Cam Ward, the Canadian goalie. The Americans, here we're going to have a look at Slater's goal again. He's coming into the high slot area. Quick snapshot right in over Cam Ward's right shoulder.
And even Jay Bowmister, with his wealth of experience, didn't have the time to move and try to stop, to put the body in front. There, if you try to put the stick so close to the net, it could work against your goaltender. Either you put your body there, otherwise you have no other way to block the puck. Physical game, and I'm not surprised at that. Now along the board, look for a counter-attack. There's a very good covering and coming back from the Canadians. Now it's Knight Thompson, fourth liners in from the USA. A kind of counter-attack was
broken up by the
probably
USA in the mid-ice area. The USA not being intimidated by the Canadians, coming in again, looking, trying to get those quick shots right away in the first period.
Jay Bowmister covering bit late, but well, brilliant player. The Calgary Flames legend. An indication from the goaltender. Most of the communication, especially in North American ice hockey, is up to the goaltender. The puck flies up, and we go to the fourth face-off of the game.
Luca, with both of these teams stacked up with NHL talent, all of these players have played against one another in on various teams before.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be no surprises. So how important do you think is going to be the coaches in this game?
More than ever. More than normally, because I think they're mixing up the lines and also knowing each other's character could be a factor. You know when a player gets nervous, you know what he suffers. So you may start with an idea of lines, but I think they will both match line. It's not nice keeping, not a keeping at all. He should have kept that in.
Well, the Canadians just seem to be having a bit of mental lapses right now. When a team is
Are you
like
not
this,
happy with that, right?
obviously not, Luca,
yeah.
obviously. But when a team is like that, you just have to take a step back, do the simple things, cover all the angles, cover the various areas, and then get your team going. Take a few minutes, get things going. Big collision right at the Canadian blue line.
Then the second one coming soon. So now time for Duncan Keith. Duncan Keith, guys, we are commenting Duncan Keith now. The Chicago Blackhawks offensive defender, probably one of the best playmaker of NHL. Again, Duncan Keith looking for option and finding one very close. He gives and take, so the motion is slowed down. Dion Panoff, the Toronto Maple Leaf hardman and big hitter. Now the puck is stopped and the work is well done on the man, not on the puck. So Cam Atkinson can't find the way to go straight to the net. So Lasher, that's he's one of the lightest players on the ice and the only one playing in Europe now. He had a great season in Europe, but we don't have time to enter his biography now. Abdelkader wins the puck. The Palestinian American.
Brent Sutter may have to call a timeout right here. His players are just being run over by the Americans. My compliments to Palmieri and company, getting in there, getting lots of shots onto the net right away in the first period, putting the Canadian team back on their heels.
Look at the position of the center. I was calling that it was in the air. Why don't you cover there? Wow, wow, wow. The wingers, when you have a defensive face-off, they must not run before time, but they should run and close that shooting lane immediately.
First of all, the Americans up to this point have been winning the face-offs.
All of them.
Mr. Face-off, and it's extremely important that for the percentage of face-offs over the game that your team wins those, and the Americans are winning the face-offs up to this point.
First, you have to win the face-off. Second, you have to cover up. You have, every time there's a defensive face-off, you got your men to take care of. Again, turning around and putting it in front of the net. Diumpanov puts a body in between. It was not Diumpanov, I'm sorry. It was Ivan de Kane, the Winnipeg Jets. Physical player.
There we see Jimmy Howard.
That's Howard. On one side, we have the goaltender of the Carolina Hurricanes. On the other side, we have the Detroit Red Wing netminder.
Number 35 for the Americans.
Yeah. And we have Abdelkader has the curious fact that he did his debut in a final. And I don't think many others did so. The puck is not controlled perfectly by Teddy Parcell. So this is a checker line for the Canadian. Murray, Ladd, Parcell, and O'Reilly. And while Bowmeister is completing in defense, as expected, that's the Canadian fourth line, and they do what they have to do, gain the offensive face-off and go out for the change, and now in the big weapons. That's a good system. Seems like they start getting back to the game.
Well, when you have a goalie on the American side like Jimmy Howard, who plays for the Detroit Red Wings, he can often see the ebb and flow of the games, and he knows when to cover up and take a face-off just to slow the pace of the game down. And that's a big factor because it doesn't let the Canadians get going, get any type of rhythm or any type of acceleration.
And I also liked the attitude of the Canadian checkers line. We're in since 20 seconds. We don't have to try to score a goal anytime from anywhere. Let's put it there. Let's gain the offensive face-off and go to the bench.
Well, yeah, that's the whole idea. Don't panic. You took an early goal, but what you do is you try and move most of the play first into the center ice area and then into the other team's area. The more time that you spend playing in the other team's area, obviously good things are going to happen.
And we've seen the Marc Method has been allowed to wear a special mask due to an injury to the chin area. Diompanov has the puck circulating, and Corey Perry chasing that.
Luca, up to this point, I was expecting more physical contact between these two teams. What we saw between Norway and Sweden yesterday, for example, was very physical.
It might be an overreaction, you know. They might have been told not to do too much of that, not to do too much of that, and we see the most physical game is the one we less expected to be so. It was yesterday.
Good point.
It is yesterday, but if you keep, when they played in Switzerland, believe it or not, I saw 2 matches and a scoring opportunity.
Looks like it's a goal for John
Not a scoring
Tavares.
opportunity, but Tavares, the New York Islanders, a young star.
Didn't panic, kept the possession of the puck, let Jimmy Howard, the American goal, make his first move, and that's the goal for John Tavares, his first goal tonight against the Americans. That brings it up to 1-1 between these two teams. Let's have another look at it.
Oh, look. Well, I think that Jimmy Howard went down properly to cover the ice, but how can you flick so well with the backhand? This is a mystery to me.
Watch better. Watch. He's no rush. No rush. Goes underneath Jimmy.
You know, even though you are alone in the ice, to flick it up with the backhand, it's a mission impossible to me. You know, how can you do it under pressure and skating like that? Oh, it's okay. That's the level of the game we are commenting, right? So it's level. Canada 1, USA 1.
Oh!
And nearly the same from the opposite spot, by in a similar move. Nearly we got another. Yeah, oh, that's a slap shot coming from Jack Johnson, probably the most talented defenseman.
The Americans just seem to have revved it up.
Team.
They're not back
Oh,
on
that's
their heels
dangerous.
by the Canadians at all. Here
That's
they come again.
dangerous. They playing both a high-risk game, aren't they? They're not playing prudent or territorial ice hockey, not at all. And again, I was saying that when they play Switzerland, the Swiss coaching team expected a physical game to get in shape for the World Cup. The Canadians, believe it or not, did not hit at all. They've been told so, maybe a little bit too much, maybe, who knows, you know. It should be there to understand that. Is just one of the few questions that make this game so interesting. Time to counter-attack. Alex Goligoski, the Dallas Star, former Pittsburgh Penguins. Oh yes, oh yes, have a taste of that. Max Pacioretty, most of you will remember his horrific accident versus the Boston Bruins. We were being really scared by what happened when he hit his head. Time to remain on the here and now with a long pass to no avail, but the puck is flying too high. So we go to the face-off.
And there we see the close-up of the Canadian scorer, John Tavares, with his first goal tonight, number 20 for the Canadians, tying the game up at 1-1, 11:30 left in the first period.
Well, I think I had the luck to comment him with the junior team at the World Cup, and it was clear he was coming. And this is
he got
tremendous.
it through the arms.
Tremendous.
Goes right through Jimmy Howard's arms, probably bounced it right off his mask into the net. Here we're going to have another look at it from behind the net.
Yeah, not not above the frame, because there was too much, to a big distance to be flicked up. So he went. I think he thought that can't be casual, you know. Great picks.
Well, yeah, but you know, these are two of the teams that are looking towards to go into the playoffs, being top 4 in the Helsinki group. We'll go over this one more time for anybody who doesn't know. The format this year is different. It's 2 countries hosting the tournament, Sweden and Finland. Helsinki has all the preliminary games for the Helsinki group, and the other teams are in Stockholm, Sweden, and all the preliminary games will be there.
So time for Nate Thompson to win the face-off. Now it goes the other way this time. So nice pass, but the puck is lost in the neutral zone. Now the puck is in the corner. It's very important to win the battle along the board. It is always important, but today a bit more, because we know that both the teams on the ice, they feel it a little bit more than the European teams as a matter of pride on offside. That was a
just about an excellent fast break for Perry, splitting the defense. Of course, this is a huge game after the Vancouver Winter Olympics in 2010, when Sid the Kid and his company reached over and took the gold medal out of the Americans' hands. That gold medal for the Americans has become something like the Holy Grail. So close and yet so far. So this game is very serious between these two teams.
And again, both the teams are not shy to put it in the corner and go and chase. Now it's a 2-on-2. But there we go, and we have seen no special team yet, which is probably goes to show a little bit what we said that before. Aren't they afraid of getting penalties, maybe?
Yeah, both of these teams know that penalties played a huge part in many games last year. And of course, if you get into this tournament is so demanding physically, because you have back-to-back games. If you have to spend a whole night defending against penalties, here's another shot right down onto Cam Ward on his net. The Canadians, however, come out into the mid-ice area, but the Americans stop them up at the blue line. But the Canadians somehow get the puck down into the net, and here comes the first penalty. It's going to be against the Americans.
Yeah,
probably
sometimes
looks like slashing.
You just need asking.
You ask and you receive.
Yeah, it happens like that all the time. You know. Me colleagues make fun of that, and rightly so. So it's a slashing call. 5-on-4 the first.
It's going to be a slashing on John Tavares. You see right there, that's a classic difference of how the referees ref the games in a European international mode as compared to the NHL North American way. And both of these teams, as we were saying before, are loaded with NHL players. They're going to have to take a bit of time to make that mental switch over.
So the 2 meters tall San Jose Sharks defender goes to sit down for a couple of minutes. 1/4 of the penalty is gone. So Ryan Getzlaff, captain, having the puck circulated. Dion Panov, offensive face-off. This is gonna be a massive face-off to the right of Jimmy Howard.
See,
very good close.
See how clear that was for Jimmy Howard to see that puck coming in. The Americans cleared out the zone, cleared out the corridors. Jimmy Howard saw that all the way in. That's exactly what the goalie wants. Goalies hate it when there's a lot of traffic in front of them, not just because they can't see the puck, because when that puck's coming in, there's so many types of rebounds. The puck can go off skates, it goes off legs. It almost becomes like a pinball, and you never know where it goes, and that gets goalies very nervous.
Yeah, what they don't want is a puck juggling around the crease and the visual screened. But against goalies like that, you can't even hope to score if they see it clearly. Now the puck is well recovered by the penalty killing team. They push it away, and Cam Ward doesn't want to lose any precious second.
1 minute left in the power play for Canada against the USA. The first penalty of the game.
And nothing dangerous so far. So the puck is along the board. Patrick Sharp waiting for that. No, should have kept it in. Looks easy to say, probably a bit harder to do. Here we go again with Patrick Sharp, who takes a big slice of Chicago Blackhawks salary cap. Oh, that's in front of the crease, but nothing.
Here's a 2-on-1 for the Americans.
Nugent Hopkins lost the puck, and again from on the other side, Kyle Okposo. Good exchange, but that Slot is well covered. Nearly gone. Teams are full strength and a kind of counter attack. Puck is dislodged for a while, but very quickly adjusting up deck there, gets back in possession. Alex Goligoski tries to put it deep. This is a bit of a sloppy use of the puck in the neutral zones. Let's see if something more comes. Here we go. There's screening. There's a powerful shot by Max Pacioretty. Italian father and Jewish mother, whose story is very interesting. I advise for you to go to the web and have a look. And again, Kampfel tries to put it into the high slot, but to no avail. That's going to be an icing call.
And that you don't see too often from Team Canada, purposely throwing the puck down the ice, taking an icing call. The Americans were all over the Canadians in that last instant there. And in fact, the power play for the Canadians was fairly sterile. You know, I think a lot of these players coming off a big, long season in the NHL, you know, and having back-to-back games, it's not easy in no way, shape, and form. We're going to see how things develop in the second and third period for both of these teams.
Did you notice in the face-off, they didn't put the men on the short side, on the board side?
Good glove hand save from Cam Ward.
Cam Ward now will have to watch a face-off to his left, but very good glove catch. And there's another.
So what happens is both of these teams, oftentimes what happens with the American and the Canadian teams when they come to the World Cup, Hockey Championship, here we're going to see a few highlights. This is the American goal right away within the first 20 seconds of the period from Slater. And here comes up John Tavares' goal. Getting it by Jimmy Howard, the American goalie. And that's how it stands, 1-1 right now.
I think I will watch it a few times to try to understand it. I think it must be a good feeling to score a goal like that. It's always a great feeling to score a goal in a World Championship. Yeah, but this is something different in my opinion.
Well, you know, what happens, as I was saying, both of these teams, oftentimes, they try and come to present themselves at the World Championships with something like a skeleton crew. They're waiting to see what happens in the NHL playoffs to see if they can pick up a few players just to round out their teams. Sometimes it works, sometimes it backfires.
Again, no men on the board side for USA. They prefer to cover the blue line a bit better. Oh, that's a very safe and confident goaltending, which gives faith and trust to all the team, I think.
Well, you know, the situation as it is right now for the Americans, 1-1 in the first period. Scott Gordon, the coach for the Americans, can't be anything but satisfied. Instead, Brent Sutter, he's not so happy as things are going.
At all. At all. You've noticed, I hope also the friends not very familiar with ice hockey, that in the face-off, the face-off system of the USA is different from the offensive and the defensive because the priorities are different. What you want from an offensive face-off is to score. I know it's very basic, but it goes like that. And let's have a look here.
Oh.
Work for Jimmy Howard again. Sorry for Cam Ward. Good puck control. Turning around, the puck is lost. Wait for a counter-attack move. Dangerous, very dangerous to put it in the middle. And while you have a defensive face-off, you don't want to be punished by a quick move. So what you want to do is clear off the puck.
Oh, just wide to the left of Cam Ward. The Americans are all over Canada again here with just under 6 minutes left.
It is coming in the air if something doesn't change, you know. And now it changes. How?
Both
playing
teams are
basic
going to quick changes on the fly.
Yeah, but it was dangerous. It was not accurate. What you have to push it in the corner, don't you?
Well, that's the whole thing. The Canadian team, this first period, seems to be a period that they want to forget.
because putting it on the corner and go to the change seems like the easiest thing to do, but you have to be accurate in things like that. It's a detail game at this level. Again, a puck which is not well used in the neutral zone. I'm sure we will see another Canada very soon, but a big one we haven't seen it yet. Marc Method, number 33.
But you know, Luca, hockey is a game of moments. There's an ebb and flow in the game. This is the moment for the American team right here. This is where they should just really go and try and get 2 or 3 goals against the Canadians right now.
Yeah.
And then they can try and hold that lead into the second and third period. But it's obviously, this is a moment for Team USA.
Good pass from Vlasic to John Tavares. Good work from the Canadian second liners. From the blue one, a good pass. Tavares chasing that again.
And there we see number 53 for the Canadians, Jeff Skinner, getting out there, trying to get himself into the action.
Yeah, he's lining up with John Tavares and Patrick Sharp, assistant captain. So he's in very good company. And the 3 of them are very skilled and talented, probably having Patrick Sharp as the most physical of the 3. Jeff Skinner is not a big hitter. This is a good precious move, but not enough. The puck is already on the other side of the ice rink. Justin Brown again in control of the puck, pushed from behind by Ryan Murray. It is 4th line versus 4th line, and let's see if something comes to the scoreboard.
Americans are moving that puck around very well in the Canadian zone.
Yes, Cam Fuller. Forwards from the 4th line and defense from the 1st one for USA. Now they have time to build up a move. Probably Canadians are going to the shift. Yes, that's what they did. Nice drop pass, and it's work again for the Canadian goaltender.
Brent Sutter can't be anything but angry with his players right there. Here we see the last shot coming in. It just jumps over Cam Ward, over his shoulder. Here we see a number of the American shots coming on. There's from the Canadian point of view, there's just too many American shots coming in on Cam Ward. He's doing a very good job. The Canadians were very slow on that change, their line change. That's what opened up that last line change. That's what opened up all that space right in front of the Canadian goalie.
Ryan Lash, Jim Slater, Kyle Koso. The puck remains there, so who's quicker to take it off? USA again. The puck is kept in some way. So Lash checking Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Again in the neutral zone, Vlasic opens up very well. Left to right. Again, Vlasic, he wants to demonstrate that through not playing in North America.
Oh,
he has something to say about that. Another taste of North American physical game. Good try in backhand from Ivan Dekane. Lash. Lash goes behind the net, waits for the circulation of the puck. Now he goes to the shift probably. Yes. Paul Stastny should be next in. That's Paul Stastny, right?
Icing call against the Americans. The puck goes all the way down. They're going to be down in Jimmy Howard, the American goalie's end of the ice right now.
And Jeff Petrie, not really happy. Not a very good couple of shifts for the USA as well.
Well, you know, the Americans are commanding the game so far in this first period. The Canadians are very, very slow. Here's a possibility for a breakaway for the Americans.
Oh, good save. Brilliant save. And wonderful acceleration by Max Pacioretty, the Montreal Canadiens star.
Yeah, we were just talking about skating.
They skate, yes, and they They're ready to take any chance. Here we go again. Stasny puts it toward the middle ice for Jeff Petrie. Now the same Jeff Petrie covering up in front of his goaltender. Powerful slap shot. Luke Shen. Again, Luke Shen in control of the puck. Good pressure on the blue line by USA.
That last Canadian shot.
The last man coming in is always the most dangerous, as they say. In this case, it was Nate Thompson coming from behind, not a high speed, but with a very good angle. Camfola keeps it in, but just for a while. Now the turnover goes in favor of the Canadians. Jay Bowmeister puts it along the board. A long stretch pass, probably hoping for a not prudent change on the fly. Turnover. What a turnover.
The last 20 seconds.
Goligoski. Duncan Keith.
Excellent
John
work from
Tavares.
Duncan Keith, I must admit.
Here we go, very close. Close but no cigar, as they say in your country. Kyle Okposo, very good shift.
Excellent shift for the Americans. They're all over the Canadians. Duncan Keith working along the boards, got the puck out.
Again,
John Tavares gets himself a 2-minute penalty right at 19:57 of the first period. There's that last shot just going wide. Oh, Cam Ward gets his stick out there to save the goal. John Tavares takes the American player into the net. That's interference, 2 minutes at 19:57 of the first period.
have a look for number 3 with the blue, dark blue jumper, Jack Johnson. Yes, he wanted to try and give us a taste of his powerful shot, because there was no time to manufacture something complicated. So what USA wanted, win the face-off and have Captain Jack Johnson try to put the 2-on-1. It was not to be, so back in a few minutes for the second time.
Erätauon pituus 15 minuuttia, intermission 15 minutes. Laukaukset maalia kohti ensimmäisessä erässä, shots on goal in the first period. USA, Team USA, 13-13.
Stasny and O'Reilly for the first face-off, which is painted blue. Navy blue, isn't it?
Navy blue.
Navy
exactly.
blue, yeah.
And for the first 1 minute and 40 seconds, the Americans are going to have a power play situation, 5-on-4. This is exactly the situation where they want to try and get another quick goal, just as they opened up the first period.
The first attempt is not a very good one, so they have to rebuild. They don't have to lose composure. They got the power and the manual dexterity to try to do something better. Not a strong power play so far. A diagonal pass to the high slot, which brings to no avail again. Time to restart. Howard gives a clear message, guys, let's not waste any time. Jack Johnson, how much I like this tough and big defender.
And there we see number 9 for the Americans, Ryan. He is their sniper. They're expecting big goal production out of him. And that was the last shot that was taken on.
Yeah, no, Wilson. Brian Burke, sorry. Wilson, I saw that. I saw Wilson before, during the break. Mr. Burke. Yeah, it's nice to see all players there, right? Former players, not all players. You know, when they say that
Former
to me,
players,
I don't.
right.
Former players.
Mature players.
Mature players, like us. And not at that level. That's an attempt to the net. quick protection by O'Reilly. North American style, you're not any happy.
Again, we
there's
see
a
this
contact.
situation. We saw the same situation in the first period where the American players are allowed to come out from right behind the American net and go and have a free, essentially a free shot on the Canadian goalie.
Kyle Poso, Nigerian father. And the puck is thrown away. A mid-air clearing. Time to restart again. Alex Goligoski, the Dallas Star defensive playmaker. Very good game by Ryan Lash, the only European-based player of the team. Again, the former Pittsburgh Penguins waits. Very smart waiting, if you allow me to say so. You know, he didn't get too close because he knew that the puck could have come that way. That was what happened. 13 seconds left in the power play, and it is gone.
And it jumps out right down to the end of the ice. Jimmy Howard, the American goalie, hands the puck off to his defenseman. The Americans decide to try it once again. The penalty is over. The teams are back at full strength. And there was a little miscue. Essentially, Jimmy Howard was forced to cover up, and the Canadians were able to force a quick face-off in the American zone. There's Jet Slaff. He is the captain for the Canadian team, number 15.
Yeah, he's the powerhouse of the Anaheim Ducks. So big, so talented. This kind of player, a little bit like Rick Nash. How can you be so big and so flexible and ice skating so well?
Well, that's the entire situation. Hockey has changed tremendously in these last few years.
Yeah.
Exactly what you were saying. You never used to see players of that nature with that as big, physically as big as these players are now, with the type of technical skills. Here's the Canadians coming in, trying to get a shot, but it's blocked by the American defenseman. The Americans easily come out of their zone into the mid-ice area, dump it down into the Canadian area. Both teams are going for very quick changes on the fly.
Changes on the fly, but no one takes advantage of that. Normally you have to be very careful, especially in small ice rinks. That could be something that will help USA and Canada throughout the tournament. When you have small ice rinks, you get educated to be very aware and not to concede too much when you go to change on the fly. So again there's a good entrance by John Tavares. He's allowed to skate the outside but not mid-ice. Duncan Keith, Tavares.
Here's a good opportunity.
Tavares puts it in the middle. Lovely suggestion, but very good covering by the defense. Jim Slater, the Winnipeg Jets star. And again, the navy blue, they have to restart from their own zone. Nice pass, very confident movement. Lash. They try to pass with one time, a delayed penalty
against the Canadians.
Against the Canadian.
The Americans are pulling the goalie out, trying to get that sixth attacker onto the ice.
The extra man is in, still in possession. Then now it's time for the second minor, is it? Slashing call.
Slashing call against
Dion Panoff.
Number 3 plays for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Mr. Hardness in a famous spot. He says, one of my jobs is to be physical, and we believe him. We really believe. Yes.
He's one of those guys you just don't want to run into.
No. And again,
look at the top of your screen. You see the slash coming. There it is. Slash right up on the hands of number 11 for the American team.
Do you remember this song? It was Breaking the Law by the Judas Priest. Now I challenge you knowledge about heavy metal of the 80s. Let's see how it works now. From the slap shot from Jack Johnson from the blue line. 1 minute, 35 seconds left. Again, Johnson and Goligoski are in for very long shifts. Now again, Bobby Ryan, Stasny, Johnson, and Kamfola.
Excellent puck possession by the Americans in the Canadian zone, moving around the periphery, taking their time.
That's a waste. That's a waste because now the Canadians can go to the shift. They had been in for a long and heavy shift, and a good keeping there would have been a big advantage to the USA. 50 seconds yet. Kamfola locates the option, finds Lash. Lash again, Okposo. Palmieri chasing the puck. He was waiting for the puck to come out of the collision, but the collision was not to be. Lash. Again, watch out for Palmieri, probably on the blue line waiting. No, he was not Palmieri, it was Alex Goligoski again. The puck is kept in. Lash. Here we go again with the attempt by Alex Goligoski.
Excellent job by the Americans to keep the puck in the Canadian zone.
Very good puck. Now they try with the player behind the net. Lash misses the touch with the puck. Counter attack, 2-on-2. Panov doesn't find a way to put the puck towards the crease. And this is a smart dump. Let's see what happens. No, I thought the Americans were going to get the puck, but nice, very nice piece of ice skating by Jay Bowmister. Spinning around with this size, maintaining possession. Now time to skate back for the Canadians. Bowmister. Vlasic. The puck is back to the Americans, that they have to restart from their own zone. Nice pass from kneeling down, very close to offside, but it was a matter of inches, so the pass was regular. I lose my balance, but I don't lose the puck. That's what happened to the center of the USA fourth line. This goes along the board and becomes a good suggestion. Good cross and the score. Jeff Skinner, the Mr. Talent, Northern American sensation and all-star Jeff Skinner.
There you go. Just as things seemed kind of sleepy, Jeff Skinner came out, gets his first goal for this 2012 World Championships. Let's see how it develops again. Long stretch pass.
Now they cross, and that's Tavares. Deserves a big credit for that. What a soft drop pass, or maybe it was not even a pass, it was just, I leave the puck here, nearly stationary puck for you. So I move around, take away one man with me, I leave you a puck very easy to handle, so you don't have to adjust that.
Well, that long stretch pass created a 2-on-2 situation for Canada in the American zone with John Tavares, who, in my mind, up to this point, has been the big engine for the Canadian team, creating incredible opportunities. Here we see again John Tavares going around, getting the puck right in front of the American zone. Excellent strength. Watch John Tavares just pumping it to get back, to cover.
You look
in front of the Canadian, right in front of the Canadian net. That's the effort that Brent Sutter wants from his Canadian players. There's Jeff Skinner, number 53. His home NHL team is the Carolina Hurricanes, and he went with a high shot right over Jimmy Howard's right shoulder.
You look
healthier. Here we're gonna have to look at it
Mark.
again. Here we go. Quick snapshot.
That's great. That's great because I don't see any big mistake from the defense. It's very hard to defend against this structural play because it's very easy to open up the space. Of course, you need the stick dexterity. You need to handle that properly because the accuracy is the key. But what would you tell to the two defenders? It was too quick, you know. Anyone kept his man, so.
That's exactly it. When you're in a situation like that, 2-on-2, the two defensemen, well, it's 2-on-2. Each defenseman gets a man. Pick up your man, it's called. Stay close, and you should be able to nullify that type of situation. Instead, the Americans conceded too much space to the Canadian players.
So for the ones of you interested in comparing different sports, let you go and have a look on the web. You find it very frequently in rugby. It is very, very hard to defend against what rugby men call that an X, an X. So when you cross the line of run, it's very, very hard for the defenders to maintain positions. The Americans did that. No, it's outside. Nothing happened, but very close again. Oh, really? In. And now how quickly, what a difference a couple of minutes could do. It comes up very dangerously from the pad and very quick in repositioning. Howard doesn't stand up.
He just sits down on it.
Sits down
there,
and slides,
exactly where.
Slides towards the left in a second effort, which is very different to do and to think, because you have to take a decision there, not to stand up, to move slightly. On the other side, looks like a power play for the Canadians, but watch out on the other side of the ice. Diumpanov has the duty that he does so well to cover up mid-ice. There might be a conversation, another friendly one at all behind the net. Johnson and Kampfoller again. Lash. Stasny, leave it to Lash. Lash, the small-sized one, but how sharp this player. I'm surprised by this player. Someone says he doesn't have the size and the body to play in NHL, but you know, when you think about Naslund or Martin Saint Louis, and I see a little bit of that. He's very small in size, but not in thinking. And what a very good sense of ice hockey he has. I like this player.
Well, we were saying in the first period that it was an American moment. It was a moment for Team USA. They're all over Canada. Canada, after that last goal, which takes them ahead 2-1, seems to have caught fire. They're playing much faster. They're executing their plays much better. We'll see if the Americans can resist for these next few minutes.
So there's a struggle behind the net. The two number threes. And a kind of arm wrestle. Nice skating. Dangerous puck in front of the net. It was not to get in. Nugent Hopkins, aware of his position in front of the crease.
Now you're just seeing the Americans just getting a bit scrambly in their own zone. They're starting to follow the puck instead of holding their positions.
And we've seen how the Canadians like to manufacture their offense, in many ways, but also with heavy, deep forecheck, two men hard on the puck, and then try to put it in front of the net. And again, it looks like they listen to us sometimes, you know.
Well, we do have a direct phone call right to Brent Sutter.
Yes. No, it's absolutely casual, but you know, that's a very strong forecheck.
Just off the post.
It was.
Watch number 93 for the Canada. Put it off of Jimmy Howard's left post.
Ryan Nugent Hopkins of the Edmonton Oilers. Well, we haven't seen much of Patrick Dwyer yet. So we're on the other side. There's so much work. Transitions are very quick. Both the teams, they don't have a very powerful and organized cages in the neutral zone. They prefer to forecheck, you know, maybe taking some risks. And now time to defend, but we've seen how quickly you find the puck on the other side, on the other end.
Well, the turnaround speed that these teams have is absolutely incredible. That means that the players who are trailing the play, usually the defensemen, have to be watching for the other team's turnaround. That gets really quick. Here's an opportunity for the American team.
So from behind the net, though, dangerous turnover.
Oh.
Nearly an assist from the Canadians to the USA. Open up and try to put in front Chris Butler. Nice slap shot. Again, should be Chris Butler. In fact, that's him. Good defense in front of the crease. Dangerous pucks juggling around there. What a skating motion. Again, very quick skating by Joey Crabb. The fourth liner behaving very well in this last couple of shifts. Justin Brown puts it deep there. Another strong shot by Bobby Ryan. And we haven't seen much eyes for Jordan Ebel, number 14, and there's another penalty, another minor penalty that could be a factor.
Slashing call coming out.
Slashing call nearly at the end in the second part of the second drittle. That could prove really, really costly.
Ladd goes off.
So Andrew Ladd
Tripping.
goes up.
Probably more like tripping call.
Yeah, it could be both really. Anyway, the result is 120 seconds, which is an eternity in terms of ice hockey.
Here's the last American opportunities. Cam Ward has come up excellent in these last few minutes. There's the shot going off the
JT Brown,
post again.
very quick with the backhand. Again, it is very hard to handle the puck with a backhand for a normal player, not for these stellar monsters. You see Atkinson driving straight to the net, waiting for a rebound. The puck jaggers, but he's too high. And again, Jordan Eberle, I think he will come off very strong by the end of the tournament. Today we talked about him as one of the most talented players, and I remain on that. But you know, sometimes you don't have the right puck or the right game. Anyway,
It's hard to get the right opportunities. That's true.
Yeah.
And it depends what line you're put on with as well. Your line mates that you get in these type of tournaments. A lot of times you haven't been playing with these guys. The Americans have good pressure of the Canadians now, working the puck around right behind the Canadian net.
Yeah, talking about New York Islanders, Nino Niederreiter, when he plays in a defensive line, you know, he does his job, he does it very well, makes his coach happy. But from outside, you have the impression he's not playing very well. But it depends on what kind of game you are asked to. So Jordan Eberle is Mr. Style from a certain point of view. So let's expect much more from this extremely talented player. So the puck is, like Max Pacioretty puts it in front, chases, looking for a rebound. 1 minute left in penalty time, and the puck is a bit off the target. Good circulation. No shot possible from the blue line because of the pressure by Evander Kane. That's a score. That's a score. Jack Johnson, one of the highest scoring defensemen of the world right now.
Excellent goal. The Americans kept possession during that power play in the Canadian zone, working it around the periphery, being patient, looking, trying to find that good opportunity. It came right across the ice. Look how it comes from one side of the ice to the other side. And what was Cam Ward forced to do? Cam Ward, the Canadian goalie, look, he's forced to move from one side of the net to the other.
He had to move from the right to the left, so he didn't have time to set down, then get the proper position. So what has Jack Johnson done? He has put his bullet right in the exact moment before the goaltender had the time two things. So no adjustment needed, and Canada to USA to Jack Johnson, who represented USA at the Olympics and the World Championship this year with a career high of 12 goals.
That's already his second goal for this tournament.
Yes. Yes, he's a great playmaker. He plays a lot. He plays a lot, both in NHL and with his team. Mr. Reliable doesn't get penalized too often, which is a factor we have to underline again. Tavares with the backhand. Another nice clearance. Luckily for the Canadians, the puck gets back. And now it is thrown away. Jeff Petrie. Oh, bad clearance. So it's work for the Canadian goaltender again. Very quick change of angle by Cam Atkinson. Again, Cam Atkinson. He opens up the play in a very similar move. He opens up to Jeff Petrie. Nearly we've seen.
It looks like a power play, but actually it's 5-on-5. The Canadians are bottled up in their end. The Americans moving that puck around beautifully, created another excellent scoring opportunity for themselves.
Again, looks like there's a bit of lapse of concentration from the Canadian. They need to get out of their area. They put the puck in the neutral zone, but not very accurately. So USA has the opportunity to rebuild a good entrance in the offensive zone. Patrick Dwyer finally in for a long shift. Nice keeping, very nice keeping. The puck is kept in very well by Cal Palmieri. Ryan Getzlaf finds a good pass on the blue line, and you get continuous attacks on both the sides of the building. Ryan Getzlaf waits for a puck who doesn't come. The Canadians, they have to keep it in. They just can't do it for a few seconds. 3 minutes to the end of the second drittle, 2-on-2. This time, the move that produced the second score doesn't work. The puck is stationary there. Stastny pushes it away, nearly kicks it away. Brown puts the puck circulating. Johnson. The one-on-one is not won by the offending team in this case. Nice pass, but the adjustment gives the time to the Canadian defense to organize, regroup, and put the puck towards Jimmy Howard, who deflects without any second thinking. Would you try these stylish back passes right now?
No, I wouldn't actually.
I wouldn't.
Especially into that area of the ice. I was just watching number 9 from the American side, Mr. Ryan. He is their sniper, and they have to start getting the puck to him more often, getting him shooting more often onto the Canadian net. They have to get production out of him.
Tavares leaves it back for a good attempt. For a good attempted goal by Jeff Skinner. Tavares, what a skilled player. Tavares and Skinner, lethal combination.
Well, they are the big combo going for the Canadian team so far. The same as last year. It was Tavares, Skinner, Skinner, Tavares. They work beautifully together. They create lots of opportunities. They keep the puck when they're out on the ice. They're the combo, the attack combo that's producing most for the Canadians right now. And Brent Sutter obviously sees that and recognizes that, and they're getting the ice time.
1 minute and a half to go, so probably the Canadian coach will ask an extra effort from his best man. 1 minute 20 could be about 3 shifts. Let's see if they play conservative or offensive. It could go either ways. Now the puck juggles and Geslav loses, Luke Shen doesn't see it. That's a dangerous puck. And there's a penalty call again. So this drittel will finish with a special teams in. And let's
Jeff
see
Skinner
if
getting
it's just
mixed
a
up in
minor.
the bit of the skirmish there, but it was Jeff Skinner creating that big scoring opportunity for Canada. And he goes and he's complaining to the referee right there. Look, that back pass creates that beautiful opportunity for the Canadians to try and get a goal in the last minute of the second period.
Then Butler pushes from behind. There's the reaction by Patrick Sharp. Jeff Skinner shows the ref that his shirt has been ripped. So is that only a minor? I think so. I think so. I didn't see anything really bad happening, but if and this is not NHL, you know, this is the World Championship. So let's get back and see. Wow, wow, wow.
Here are some of the Canadian opportunities between the work between Skinner and Tavares.
Skinner and Tavares, this couple really embody the word talent, and a minor penalty is awarded and nothing more than that. So Jim Slater, the first scorer of the game, having a good season with the Winnipeg Jets, going and sit for the remaining 46 seconds of the drittel. So there's an offensive face-off, 36 seconds. If you win a good puck from the drop, sure you got time enough to manufacture something.
Absolutely. You're on a power play, you got the face-off right in the other team's zone. This is exactly where the Canadians want to be. Get
Jamie Benn
puck, try and
doesn't win.
get an opportunity to get that last shot on net.
So the Canadians have to leave the room and regroup. The puck is not kept in. They have to start from their home. 26 seconds. The puck is thrown away again. This time just for one access in the attacking zone. 10 seconds. Panov opens up the play. He wants to receive the puck and find a shooting lane. And 1 second to go, just the time to drop the puck, and the second drittel is gone. So special teams again a factor, and Jack Johnson talking to his goaltender. So we've seen scoring in 3 seconds from an offensive face-off, but you should score, and it happened. Ask Alexander Ovechkin if it's possible or not.
Look how close the Canadians are to all around the face-off area. They know it's just 1 second, so they bring in the defenseman very close. That's it, that's all.
That's it, and that's it, because you should score directly from the drop. So, back for more action and more emotions for the first drittel in a few minutes, my friends.
Laukaukset kohti maalia toisessa erässä. Shots on goal. In second period, USA, Team USA 19-19, Team Canada 12. Erätauon pituus 15 minuuttia, intermission 15 minutes.
I'm curious to see how they will defend on the first penalty killing unit, if they will deny wristers from the high slot, mainly, or what kind of risk they will take, because it's a short cover anyway. 30 seconds to go. Too soon to shoot. They want to get the opponents tired because they come from the rest. 25 seconds, good puck circulation. They struggle, Canadians struggle to keep the puck in. Duncan Keith finds the way to keep it in. Here it comes from the high slot. And that's, there is work for Jimmy Howard from behind the net. 3 seconds. For the teams are at full strength. You always have to count an extra 4 or 5 seconds for the penalized player to reach the offensive zone. You know, when you watch statistics, sometimes you got officially full strength score, but in practice they are special team scores, because if they happen 2 or 3 seconds after the teams are at full strength, you have to give how long? 4 or 5 seconds to the penalized player to reach the zone.
Exactly, yeah. Well, the Americans were able to kill off that penalty right at the beginning of the third period. They're back at full strength 5-on-5 right now. And the Canadians did come out. They were looking to get Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had a good opportunity right in front of the net. Same with Jordan Eberle. He got a good shot on the net. So there was some production. They did get a few good shots onto the American net right at the beginning of the third period. But the Canadians will have to turn it up just a notch, try and get a couple goals early and keep the Americans down.
And there is a certain technique in entering the ice after the penalty. Sometimes you leave the space. You know from where exactly the players gets in. The coaches say you finish the penalty and play, or you finish the penalty and go to the bench. So it is a very complicated and fascinating world, ice hockey. So most of the times, well, not most of the time, sometimes we've seen people coming off the bench and scoring.
Well, it's the coach's call, you know. Sometimes they don't want to break up the lines. Here's a good opportunity for the Americans. Oh, Cam Ward denies.
And again, Max Pacioretty, that Montreal Canadiens stars. What a game.
Watch the quick turnaround that the Americans get here.
A nice pass towards mid-ice. The puck is flicked, but Cam Ward had the time to spot and wait, go down and block the shot. Back to their own zone. So the USA players are allowed to skate, but not to reach the ice. Very good move, good protection. They keep them outside and try to force them to dump the puck deep. I think that the team in blue do not want to do. They want to maintain possession.
Well, the Canadians are trying to work the puck right around the American net, forcing Jimmy Howard to stop it. And the Canadians come out of it with a face-off in the American end to the right of Jimmy Howard, the American goalie. Ladd tries the wraparound. Jimmy says, "I know what you're trying to do," and he shuts the door.
So again, there was work for the checker lines. Good puck from the face-off. Patrick Sharp. He had to maintain possession. The same players do not hit like they do in NHL. I was expecting from a North American point of view a big hit there, but they are adapting to this kind of ice hockey very quickly and very smartly. You don't see so many hits as you expected. Again, the puck that juggles dangerously in front of the crease. Tavares gives and receives. Again, the New York Islanders superstar, and that's number 14, Jordan Eberle, nearly.
It was actually Jeff Skinner getting in there. getting the puck and setting up the situation for Jordan Iberly. And here again we see number 53 for Canada getting a bit of a rough ride in the American end, but that's Jeff Skinner always trying to create an opportunity for his Canadian teammates.
Good back checking from the Canadians as well. And the shot by Alex Goligoski is stopped. How many times we've seen him scoring from that position with the Pittsburgh Penguins, also with the Dallas Stars, but not so much as he used to. Wraparound is allowed a bit too easily, maybe. The centering pass is not used properly. Along the board, Jay Bowmister checking. This puck could go either ways. No, now it's in full possession. No, it's 3 turnovers in a couple of seconds. You really have to struggle to maintain possession. We're on the other side of the ice rink in a couple.
Excellent second effort from Ryan, number 9 for the Americans, to get that puck over the blue line area, but it's a penalty being called against his teammate.
It's
number 27 from the Americans. That's another 2 minutes.
So Justin Falk goes to sit down for slashing. And Captain Jack Johnson stays out.
There he is. He said,
yeah.
"Hey Jeff, how are you? How you doing?"
Jeff Skinner is very severely tagged, as it happens to all the different makers. They're very hard on Jeff Skinner. Again, Panov waiting on the blue line. Hey, here we go. Dion Panov.
Canada on the power play. It's a 5-on-4 situation. The Americans come up with the puck, clear it down, right down onto Cam Ward, who goes for a long clearing pass. They're trying to catch the Americans.
Offside.
On a line change, and it was offside. I would like to see that again. See if that was actually an offside.
I would like to see that again as well. I understand when the opponents change on the fly, you're tempted to do a stretch pass. Which
it was a beautiful stretch pass from Cam Ward. We're going to see if it was actually an offside at the right.
I don't think.
Yeah, he was.
Yes,
he was just offside. Perry. Good call from the linesman.
Yeah, good spot. My credit to the linesman.
Yes, he was very good.
They don't have the video cameras, right?
Well, no, but you know that's not easy. You know, you have to see a long stretch pass coming from the other end of the rink and see that type of those few centimeters to make a quick call like that for an offside. My compliments.
For what is worth, my opinion is that the refs, all the refs of the games we have commented so far, are managing very well, very, very well. This is a dangerous puck, but Corey Perry was pressed and backhanded, so nothing more than that. When I see the goaltender coming off the net, I always think about Matt Tambrador and his long stretch passes from the net.
Well, essentially what it is, we see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins right there moving the puck around, still in the American zone. They're on the power play, but he coughs up the puck to the Americans. Now the Americans are trying a quick break.
2-on-2, danger as well. And the puck is still alive, and the score is in. And it's in. Good breakaway, 2-on-2 and the score. Dwyer, Mr. Dwyer, didn't play so much, but Patrick Dwyer found a way to score the goal that may do the difference.
That may be the goal of the entire game. Why? Because the Americans were down. They were penalty killing. Dwyer came down. Look, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins coughs up the puck to the Americans. Did they just throw it down? No, they just come down. Watch to the left of your screen. Watch around the left of your screen, the wraparound. Catches Cam Ward sleeping.
He follows the puck after the rebound.
Look at that work. He took the shot, went behind the net, got the puck, and stuffed it in right around to the right of Cam Ward. I think that's the goal of the game. They're still the Canadians still have a power play. They gave up a shorthanded goal. There was a big crushing hit.
So this is a score, of course, makes the difference on the scoreboard, but also for your head. You know,
it's a huge psych job for the Americans. Watch, goes behind the net, picks it up, stuffs it in. Dwyer, what a excellent job. They weren't right there at that situation. They could have just dumped it down the ice and went for a change at the bench. Instead, they went for it and they came up with a goal. Excellent work.
He could have gone for a conservative solution while he went for the offensive one, and we know that he did so well. So it's USA 3, Canada 2. So the big derby of the two countries. It's a long story. A matter of culture. Canadians say hockey is a Canadian game. They don't like too many USA teams winning the Stanley Cup with Canadian players in. Oh, it's a real long story. So much tension, so much friction, and so much mutual respect again.
Well, absolutely. Yes, the Stanley Cup, as they say in Canada, has gone south for a number of years to the various teams in the United States. For a while, they were thinking maybe, of course, that's why the Canadians were so expecting the Vancouver Canucks to, and hoping that the Vancouver Canucks would have won the Stanley Cup. Here we see the crossover, Dwyer coming along, his first shot. What does he do? He goes and gets his own rebound.
Yeah, I like
Gets it, comes back, stuffs it right around Cam Ward. Can't get the leg around as fast. Cam Ward lost the puck. He thought it was coming around to his left-hand side. Instead, Dwyer brought it around to his right-hand side.
So having back Winnipeg in the National Hockey League brought up the discussion again, and I like the fierce rivalry, so full of respect. You know, someone Don Cherry said that he would like to see an NHL franchise in Saskatoon, because he made a count that you have to calculate 80 kilometers around to calculate the possible spectators. You know, there's so much discussion every time our southern USA team struggles for money or in the NHL. In Quebec, they're very sensitive about this thing because they don't have the Quebec Nordiques anymore. So all these things come up in a fierce rivalry, but it is so respectful. I really enjoyed that, and still have to enjoy 12 minutes to see who comes off the best after this very tough encounter. So behind the net, Method chasing, good patrolling.
Well, the more the time that passes by, obviously Canada has to start risking, start having to take some risks. Here's a good opportunity.
Tavares, backhand.
Howard is up to the challenge.
Howard very ready, and again we go to a face-off. Very quick to stop his motion, Tavares, and also very smart in putting a short and velvet pass toward his left. A wrap around in backhand, it turns around very quickly, Corey Perry. Marvelous skater. Again, Perry. Perry gives the puck to Jamie Benn. The Dallas star can't make much because of the pressure from the team in blue. So from behind the net, there's no penalty. Could have gone either ways, but the ref was close, so surely he saw much better than us. Johnson. A deflection from Cam Ward. The puck flies up over the plexiglass, so we go to the nth face-off.
Well, Cam Ward, he gave up a bit of a soft goal right at the beginning of the first period. He's played very well up till now. Right now is where the combination of John Tavares and Jeff Skinner have to dig down into their bag of tricks again and try and come up with another goal to tie this game up. But essentially, the entire Canadian team have to up their game. They have to up the tempo. It's very difficult playing back-to-back games. You can see that it's an energy problem, especially for the Canadians. Not taking anything away from the Americans. The Americans have excellent technique and puck handling abilities, and you see, oh,
Kane.
Goal for Canada.
Kane
3-3.
scores in. He was locating the option, and he scored himself. It's 3 Canada, 3 USA. The game is tied up.
Again, the big mistake, leaving the Canadian player Kane all free in the high slot area on the American end. Let's look at it again. Coming out of the Canadian end, Kane gets the puck, takes it all the way on his own, comes right across, snaps it right up over Howard's left shoulder.
I like the fact that
There it
he
is.
was around. So
That is, but it's too much space and too much time given to an attacker right in that high slot area for the team.
sure. Sure.
And we have a tied up game, 3-3 right now, just coming up to the halfway mark of the third period.
USA defense has not lost composure many times tonight, but a couple of seconds of ill discipline is enough to allow attackers like Evander Kane, no relationship with Patrick Kane, to score. 3-3, 9 minutes and a half to go.
Offside against the Americans. He's going to bring the puck right over the Canadian blue line. Here again, we're going to see that last Canadian goal. There was a bit of a screen. You can see the American defenseman. Here's Kane coming down. In this situation, watch the American defenseman. The number 9, Ryan. He just drifted right into the visual field of Miller, his goalie's visual field, and that's what created a screen.
Again, the puck goes to USA, D to D. Good pass to the blue line. Ryan Lash can't maintain possession. Have a look to the blue number 11, as he's always in the passing lane in the offensive zone. I like what he does. Carlo Pozo and Lash again. There might be a little bit of friction. Jay Bowmister and Jack Johnson having a quick discussion, but nothing happens. The puck is blocked.
Look.
No, it's not blocked with the first attempt, but very quick to put the white and the glove.
It's just goes to show you how tough it can be to squeeze that puck at times. You can just jump out of the glove, and those are the rebound situations that attacking forwards just love to see.
With such quick transition, it is very, very hard for the goaltenders, because anytime the puck is on your end, you have to squat down and be very, very careful. So the puck changes end very quickly, extremely quickly. So isn't it harder than ever for the goaltenders?
Well, yes, the amount of work that the goaltenders have. Look at Cam Ward right now in his semi-crouched position. That takes a lot of energy, and you have to have extremely strong legs. But it also goes to explain that when a team is under pressure, the goalie has to hold that position for maybe even a couple of minutes. At the end of the game, it's exhausting.
Or even worse, to move from one post to another. Oh, what a piece. What a piece of dexterity by Evander Kane. He's so powerful, so quick, but he's got stick handling.
Kane and Eberle trying to get something going right here. Here comes Kane down again. Good move. The puck just gets away from him, but he follows it in and gets the puck out in front of the net to Jordan Eberle, who gets a good shot on net.
He jumps around the player. So sometimes for the goaltenders, if the puck sticks and lingers in the neutral zone, they may have some extra second of oxygen sometimes, but transitions are very, very, very quick, either by long passes or by quick skating.
Oh yeah.
Good puck protection on the face-off area. Puck in the corner. They don't hit normally. What would they do in the exact same situation in NHL? The same player.
Well, there'd be a lot more physical contact
Much
going
more,
on,
yeah.
but both teams know right now that this is the moment where they don't want to be taking penalties. When it's a tied game, 3-3, coming up to about 7.5 minutes left in the third period. Neither team wants to be taking penalties that could give a golden opportunity to the others just to walk away with the points. USA has worked very hard in this game, going ahead and even keeping Canada in a tied situation. There we're looking at Jack Johnson. He has one of the goals for the USA tonight. And here we're looking at the first American goal from Slater that came at about the 22nd mark. And there's John Tavares' response, tying it up for Canada at 1-1. And there is Skinner's goal.
And Jeff Skinner, the young superstar.
And there's Johnson's quick release shot. And here's the last, Dwyer's goal, the wraparound to go ahead 3-2. And here's Kane's goal that just happened a few minutes ago to tie the game up at 3-3. Again, if you saw, if you happen to notice, a lot of the goals tonight have come from the high slot area against both teams. That's one thing that both coaches are probably going to be talking to their teams, that they're going to have to tighten up the defense in that area.
Yes, yes. The high slot has been the crucial and vulnerable area for both the teams, if I'm not wrong. Yes.
Well, what it usually means is that the teams may be tired, because it's usually one of the attacking forwards, centermen, who should be covering up in that area, but they're not getting back, which means that since they're playing back-to-back games, it gets tough. It gets very tiring to skate all back.
Yeah. Especially for the center, to get back and to work as a third defender in the high slot. It's easy to say, but you have to skate very quickly and get position and think while you're skating.
And then you have to do another turnaround. Like they say, you know, the centermen, they have to have legs of, you know, huge lungs and legs of steel.
Is that all?
Well, no, they're often the playmaker as well. So
yeah, sure.
Everything, they're the hub of the wheel, the centermen. So essentially, they're a jack of all trades.
A good move, but not enough to maintain possession in the attacking area for the USA. Puck's in the corner. The puck is in the corner. Still battling for the puck. Neither of the teams seems to get a clean puck. Here we go. USA on the attack. Centerized, denied again. Kyle Pozo. Lash very close to the net. Guys, keep quiet. We are not looking to give away easy penalties, and nothing happens.
Cam Ward had that puck covered up very well. Americans move it around, getting the shot from the point. Cam Ward has it. He's not giving it up. Good, he's got it right underneath his goalie pads.
You never know, because it happened a few times commenting games like that, to be under the illusion of an innocuous move, and then out of the blue comes the score. So as soon as you think that the game is a little bit stale, if we are permitted to use this word, everything can happen in a few seconds. Not now, probably.
Well, with both of these teams, that's exactly what both teams are looking to do. They want to get that surprise goal on the other one. because you're coming up to about 5.5 minutes left in the game. It gets tough to come back again for the third or fourth time in the space of a hockey game.
Cam Fowler covering and receiving the puck. Under pressure, he puts it forward. Kyle Palmieri chasing
Here
the
comes
puck.
Jordan Eberle.
Turnover. Jordan Eberle. Palmieri concedes the first turnover of his game. And again, Jordan Eberle. Jordan Eberle puts it in front. He knows how to make things happen. But the puck is thrown away. So both the teams are looking to put fresh bodies in the ice. Tavares and the puck is lost and regained to Canada. 2-on-2. Now the high slot is well protected. A slap shot deflected by Jimmy Howard. Finally a bit of a struggle in the neutral zone.
The Canadians just dump it down into the American area, ring it around the boards. They pick it up, trying to work it around the American area, trying to get a good scoring opportunity, but the Americans come back right down behind the Canadian net.
Again, behind the net, turning around, they're not hitting hard. They don't want penalties. They don't want to use the body too much. Nothing happened. Keep playing. Oh yes!
Oh,
it
it's
is
a
a
goal!
score. That's it. That's USA 4. Canada 3, as we say, it out of the blue in a few seconds. Anything can happen.
Look at that. That came from keeping the possession and keeping the puck in the Canadian zone. Waiting, seeing, trying, hoping that something would happen with an opportunity. Nate Thompson gets his first goal. 16-19 of the third period. Let's have a look at it again. Coming around, he gets 1, 2, 3 whacks at it, goes through Cam's Ward's pads, right between the legs at the end. Fourth goal for the Americans.
He misses the puck at the first attempt, but the second or maybe even third whack has been the decisive one, isn't it?
Look, I just take the hat off to the Americans. They just keep on coming back. They're like rubber. They bounce. They might get knocked down, but they just bounce right back up. And they're putting the Canadians under now. It's 3.5 minutes left in the third period. The Canadians are going to have to start risking opening it up, and sooner or later they're going to have to pull the goalie out.
So the Tampa Bay Lightning winger gives a big
Watch it again.
pain to the Hockey Nation.
Puck comes right between the pads. You had 1, 2, 3 whacks at it to get it in. And there it is. That's the fourth goal.
It is a very hard kind of puck to defend against for the goaltender.
Well, first of all, the Canadian defense shouldn't have let a situation like that happen.
Yeah.
They gave too much time with the Americans to play around with the puck in their own end, and sooner or later that type of situation develops.
You have to protect the house from situations like that more than relying on your goaltender to make the big save in cases like that.
They're doing an excellent job, the Americans. They just have to maintain their concentration for the next 3 minutes, and they'll take home these points.
So the face-off is in the neutral zone.
Oh. No, Miller gets to the puck before the Canadian player. It could have been a fast break, but the Canadians have the possession in the American zone, working it around, throwing it down into the front of the net. Once
Very
again,
quick and sharp
one
shot.
of the Canadian players ends up in the American net, but he gets up, gets his stick. The Americans have possession of the puck. Coming out now, they're just going to dump it right down deep into the Canadian zone. Run after it, try and take a few more seconds off that clock each time. The Americans have time to get a new line onto the ice. Fresh legs, but the puck ends up with the Americans. Again, they're keeping control. 2.5 minutes left in third period. 4-3 United States against Canada.
So Bobby Ryan skating around, Jordan Eberle waiting for the puck. Does he accelerate? No, he looks for an horizontal pass, which reveals to be very, very dangerous. On your blue line, horizontal, cute passes. I don't like that.
Right there, that is emblematic of the Canadian problem. Jordan Eberle sloppily not getting that puck over the blue line, left that puck right for the American player to turn around and get a shot, essentially a free shot on the Canadian net. These type of mental errors have to be ironed out by Brent Sutter.
Yeah, normally sideways passes in your own zone or in the blue line is not exactly what an American coach wants to see. Diompanov checks the man but can't steal the puck, giving USA another opportunity. Jim Slater with the backhand. Now they need again, this is a dangerous pass on the blue line. Luckily for the Canadians, no one picks it up. Less than 2 minutes to the end. Now you have to play vertical hockey, maybe look for the ugly score, for a bang score in front of the net. Here it comes, just asking sometimes.
That was a bad, the Canadians went in and forced the Americans to make a bad turnover, and they paid for it. It's tied up again, 4-4. Keith, number 2, notches himself a goal.
So a high scoring game, and what a game. Keith Duncan, probably the best defensive playmaker of the Northern American Big League.
Watch the slap shot coming. Nice shot.
It was high, the goaltender was down, so his shoulder were too low. Very hard to find the time to put up an arm or a glove or something. So it's for Canada, for USA, 1 minute, 20 seconds to go. Very emotional, tactical, technical. Well, maybe not fully physical game as we expected, but I'm so glad we are watching that, and still we don't know how it goes. Deflection by the goaltender.
Well, it's been bouncing all around a lot in this entire game. Both teams up, 1 point up, 1 point down. 4-4 what it is. It's coming up to the last minute. Here we see that last goal. Bad giveaway, bad giveaway.
You don't
right
have
at that point
to do the cute things close to your net, you know?
No. In fact, instead of doing that, you should have just carried the puck right behind your net. The American player should have carried the puck right behind the net. Yeah. Even then, if you're forced, just force a face-off. Just take a face-off.
Yeah, if you force better face-off than a scoring chance like that. So from behind the net, again, Duncan Keith. Good dummy, puck in front of the net. Where is the puck? I don't see it anymore. Does the goaltender see that?
It's
Nothing
waved
happened.
off.
Wow.
No goal happening at that situation. There was a big mad scramble right in front of Cam Ward. See right here, again, it bounced off the boards. Americans come up with the puck.
Good move, a dummy who keeps the defenseman committed there, and Kylo Pozo tries to push it in using stamina and stick work. 34 seconds to go. Then it's gonna be 4-on-4. Method pushes the danger away. There is still time for anything to happen. 15 seconds. Back in the neutral zone. The shot is off the target. Is more a dump than a shot. 1 second to go. Again, the only opportunity you have is to score from the puck drop. But still, we have to see where the puck will be dropped.
Yeah, they're deciding right now where the where the face-off is going to be. As well, they're calling the slash. There, Panouf, the assistant captain, number 3 for Canada, did a slash on number 7. They're calling that in fact, they were calling for a penalty, and they've got it.
Yes, yes. So John Tavares delaying the game.
Oh, excuse me, it was John Tavares purposely throwing the puck out of the rink into the crowd. He's got a delay of game call, and the Americans pulled their goalie. Of course, it's just 1 second, but you got now it's 6-on-3.
Yeah, what can
just
happen
about.
in 1 second?
Exactly.
Look, it probably did sound crazy when we say you can score in a second right after the face-off. So this is the end of the third drittel. So the teams and ourselves, we take a very short break, and time for the special team. It's going to be a 4-4.
As you hear that there's going to be a 3-minute break right now, then it's a 5-minute mini period, 4-on-4. And so Brent Sutter now has to decide who he wants to start this 5-minute 4-on-4 period. Probably you're going to have to want those players out there who work the best with space. Therefore, get Jordan Eberle, Skinner out there in the front, Bouwmeester back, and Panouf, number 3 Panouf, the other defenseman.
So you suggest as a first unit, 2 big skaters in front, 2 playmakers back. This is a special team, but it is different to organize a team to play with 4 players versus 4 or versus 5. So this is not a penalty killing situation, even though the number of players on the ice, it is the same. This is completely different. It is a difficult job to be a head coach.
Well, you don't want to mismatch. That's the situation, and of course your entire plans could be changed right at the last second as you see the other team's players that are coming out on the ice. You want to have the ability to have the last change. That way you get to see what's coming on the ice, and you can change your players. Here are some of the highlights from the third period. And there it is, Dwyer's wraparound goal. Here's Kane coming back and getting his goal.
One factor that we should not forget is that the ice does not get cleaned. You keep playing on the same ice means that the ice could be a bit slower.
Oh yeah, it will definitely be slower. There's a lot of shaved ice around the various areas. That means that the puck could get stopped in various areas around the boards or right around the goalposts as well.
It also may sound a nonsense, but the ice changed a lot in the last 20 years because the ice making machine, they got better technologies, smaller pipes. So if the ice is done quickly, it has a better quality. If you talk to the most talented players, they tell you that the ice is more regular now.
Oh yeah. There's no more blips in the ice, you know, like pieces of ice or snow that get frozen onto the ice, where the puck would come along, hit it, and take very strange type of trajectories off of it. You don't get that anymore. 4-on-4, Canada, USA, overtime, 5-minute overtime period. They're all tied up at 4 apiece.
Stasny and Ryan are the choice of a USA coach at the beginning. This is Stasny. Jack Johnson, of course, that goes without saying. Jack Johnson still in.
Power play for the United States for another 1 minute 30.
It's a
John Tavares had a
delay of
the game. Oh, and that puck just skipped around outside of the net area.
So how much can things change in the last 3 or 4 seconds? Nearly scored a penalty, which may be a factor because this is a 4-on-3, and it all happened in the last 5 or 6 seconds, Mark.
Exactly. Well, that's USA and Canada. Never say die, never say stop.
So again, this is a very important pack win. Jack Johnson waiting on the blue line. Sideways passes. Stasny puts it close to the net. Puck is too high, so there's no score yet. Again, USA captain, he has to skate back and leave the zone. Bobby Ryan. Jack Johnson, very smart move, Cam Ward. Puts the body in between. Again, Jack Johnson in for a long shift, looking for a shooting lane. Puck is behind the net. Ryan. Bobby Ryan and Jack Johnson again to Bobby Ryan. I was waiting for one timer where the puck is deflected away. Canadians need to go to the shift. That's the score. This is the score.
And that's it. That's the importance of not taking a penalty. John Tavares took that penalty right at the end of the third period, giving them, there he's John Tavares. He's very down. Shouldn't be all that down. Things happen. But of course, Jack Johnson gets his second goal of the night. They were very patient, the Americans, on their power play, their 4-on-3 power play in overtime. They worked it around, kept on waiting for the good opportunity, and Jack Johnson rips it in there. Americans take this game in overtime, 5-4. Let's have a look at it again.
A great game by John Tavares, only stained by that penalty at the end that did cost very, very much. To start the extra time, 4-on-3 did make the difference. Did Canadians had any chance in the extra time to clear the puck? I don't think so. I think they've been bottled up.
No, the Americans were very good in keeping the possession of the puck, keep moving it around. When you're in three, you know, as the Canadians were, you have to do that triangle. So, Luca, most valuable players for both sides.
Well, my pick, give me a couple of seconds. I would say Duncan Keith, maybe.
And Jack Johnson for the United States.
Jack Johnson for sure for the United States. I have no doubt. I don't need to think twice about that. For Canada.
Skinner.
Evander Kane is my pick.
Okay, let's wait and see. Oh! Slater gets the MVP for the United States.
Okay. Let's go the first goal.
Best player of Team Canada, 2020, John Tavares.
John Tavares. Well, I was thinking about this, but would you pick it notwithstanding the decisive penalty at the end? Yes.
Because it's for the most valuable player over the entire arc of the game. And John Tavares was out there for the entire game. He had just bad luck at the, getting that penalty at the end of the third period. But throughout the entire game, he was out there always trying to create scoring opportunities and giving that extra effort. I agree.
So, time for the athletes to leave the ice. Time for us to thank you all for being with us. Thanks a lot. By me, Luca Tramontin.
And from me, Mark Barrowell. Good night.
Good night.